Artistic Gamer 7, and I'm back with another Sims 4 video. As you can probably already tell, this is a little bit different from my Sims 4 like speed build sort of videos. So this one was actually a challenge from one of my Sim friends, IonSound, who did this for her birthday, and she actually did a tours of all the builds that people did for this challenge on her live stream. So she's already went through them and looked, but the video is still up on her Twitch channel, which her Twitch and Twitter and all that stuff and Origin ID will be linked down below, so definitely go give those a check. But basically what it was is that she built this for anyone to decorate. She did say that you could change some of the wall colorings, the fence colors, things like that. You like those sort of things, like you couldn't change like which ones they were, but you can sort of change the colors and stuff a bit. And you could not change any of the outside walls, but if you wanted to, you could change some of the inside walls. But I decided from the very beginning that I wasn't going to try to change any of that sort of stuff because, one, this was a pretty small build. It's on a 20 by 20 lot. And I actually haven't, I can't think of off the top of my head of I think that's like the second smallest lot size, and usually I almost never build on the small lot sizes. Most of the Sims that I have living on those small lot sizes, I either actually just put them in there temporarily for story purposes, or just to add some more people into the game, or, you know, it's one Sim and I don't really play much with them, and the house is like already pre-built and I just got it off the gallery, because I actually am probably one of the few people that is worse at doing small builds than I am doing larger builds. I will say some of my builds probably get too large because it gets to the point that I actually don't know what to do with some of the rooms. So, you know, more on like, not necessarily huge, but large to medium lots, not the small and extra small, especially not the extra small, which the 20 by 20 is a pretty small lot, at least for me. Anyway, so I was like, you know, and also just having someone else like trying to do their builds, I don't get to do challenges this way this much. Like I've had my monthly challenges in the past, and I am bringing them back, which I actually already brought the one for March back, and I'm already planning one for April. So those are back. So I'm usually like on the other end of it, not so much this end of a challenge where you're giving something and you have to work with what you're given. So, you know, it was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it and I really wanted to do it. But I will say, like, having to deal with rooms and stuff that size was pretty hard. I actually, like, before I recorded this voiceover, I actually built a actual house of mine and decorated everything on a 20 by 20 lot for the first time, that like everything from start to finish. And it was pretty hard, but, you know, I think doing this beforehand actually probably helped me a little bit, because even I didn't get to build this one, but at least decorating and stuff and sort of having a good idea of like how small stuff was going to be and how to do it and all that stuff. So I think that helped me build like on smaller lots and such. But I really, really liked how this one turned out, and I watched her live stream. I was at work when she actually did the actual live stream, so I couldn't be there during the live stream when it was actually live. But I did watch it afterwards, and she definitely seemed to like it, and I really, really was happy that she did like it as well. A lot of people had some really, really awesome decorations and did the houses extremely well. My one biggest regret is there's like a little hole spot up towards the top of the area that was empty. You could either, like, it was about a small closet size if you really wanted to try to somehow fit a closet in there, but I think the way it was done, I decided that not to put a closet in that one, or like, because it would have been in, I think there would have been two closets on one room, or like it was a balcony on the other side of it. And she did actually look in there, and I really wish I would have put something in there, like something really, really weird or funny. And that's one of my biggest regrets, just because I wish I could have done that and it just been a funny thing. But I definitely, like, this video is about the length that I try to have. Actually, it probably is exactly the length by the time everything's finished, because it's not going to get much shorter than what I have now unless I see some portions that I should have cut out that I forgot to cut out. But other than that, it's still going to be around in between 30 to 40 minutes long, so that's about how I try to get all of my speed builds. The only difference is I didn't actually build this, I just decorated it. But because I didn't build it, I almost felt more inclined to try to decorate it a lot more and go into even more detail than what I do sometimes on my builds. I should probably try to do that on all of my builds. But, you know, I was just having a lot of fun with this, and I was just running with it, and, like, I didn't really have any 100% idea, and especially since when I first started downloading the house, I didn't fully know what the house looked like. I didn't even look on the inside too much before I even started going, and then having to try to figure out how to do things. One of my biggest struggles that I had, which I actually had recently with the lot that I built myself on a 20 by 20, was trying to figure out how to fix a living room, dining, and kitchen space all at the same time in the bottom, along with having a bathroom. But at least with mine, I could move the walls if I wanted to. These, I was like, I'm not moving any walls. I'm not doing it. No, not moving them. But, so yeah, it was a pretty big challenge trying to figure out how I was gonna have, like, the living space and the kitchen and the dining room. Ultimately, I made the kitchen, the dining room, that section that is, like, on, if you're facing the front door, it's on the left. It's after that archway, while the entryway was also the living room. And I used a little, one of the decorations that's, like, those 4 pillars that you can get. I think it's from City Living. And then they made, like, versions of it that attach onto the wall that came with Get Famous, but they're, like, the exact same thing. The only difference is the ones in City Living sort of go in the middle of places, while the ones from Get Famous attach onto the walls. But, anyway, other than that, so I used those as a divider for when you first walk into the place, and the actual living room space, because I didn't want it to be, like, immediately, oh, look, a TV! Like, I don't... Granted, there is no absolute way that I could ever live in a house that didn't have a TV, at least in the living room, and honestly even in my bedroom. Like, there'd have to be at least 2 TVs in the house, in my bedroom and in the living room. So there's just me personally, there's no way that I wasn't going to put a TV at all in there. Plus, you know, I knew the bedrooms were going to be small, so I was like, this is the only place for the TV is downstairs, so there's going to be no TVs anywhere else. It's got to be downstairs. But I also don't like when the first thing you see when you walk into a house is the TV itself. I don't think a TV should be, like, the main point of your house when you walk in. So that was sort of my little idea to still, because the TV was going to be facing the door with the way that I seen it best to do. And I was like, okay, so how do I not have the TV, like, you see the TV as soon as you walk in? And that divider was my way. I had actually done that in a house build that I did a while back ago. I forgot what I called it, but it was one of the few builds that I actually started off with all of my CC, so it was like all the game stuff plus CC, and that build I actually had to separate into 3 parts, and one of the longest things though was a pathway thing that I put around back, which had no CC in it for the most part until, like, towards the end, but I used the show hidden objects and all that stuff to actually make the pathway with rocks or different rock-like things. But but yeah, that one took me a while, but I used those same pillars to divide the living room in half. That, in that case, it wasn't so much because the entryway, because there was an entryway and you didn't see the TV. It was more of dividing the living room where you had, like, a study area that also had, like, the music, and then the living, like, the area with the TV was sort of enclosed away from everything else with those pillars. So that's what I took that idea from, is myself from trying that before, and I'd actually put shelves on it. So that's what I did with this, because I didn't just want it to be, like, pillars just randomly there. So I put, like, shelf looking, like, things on them, so that not only is it a wall, like a divider that's not necessarily a wall, but it also is a decoration piece, art thing, whatever you want to call it. But as for, like, the wallpapers and stuff, I try to stay with more, like, not necessarily older looking wallpapers, but I didn't want to go, like, too new and super fancy, which I've been doing with quite a few of my builds. I've been trying to stay with for, like, more newer looking things. I don't know why, but, you know, out there for a while I was staying with, like, the whites and the blacks, and which to me are more, like, use, like, I guess modern wise, though sometimes when I see things that are called modern, I don't really think they look like super new. But I'm really bad at telling how to describe a design or decoration of anything, as y'all may know by now if you've watched enough of my builds on here. But anyway, you can sort of tell what I'm trying to say. Future, modern, present day, whatever. While this is more older looking, I don't know if it's traditional or what, but I sort of been going more of, like, towards that element for a bit. I don't know if that's just a temporary thing, but yeah, so I was trying to stick with some things that look like, you know, they were antiques, or, like, you know, they were made to look antique, and then some of the more, like, creams and browns and woods and stuff like that with most of this build. And I forgot why I even got on that topic. I do know I struggled in the kitchen when I was doing the wallpapers and stuff, because I really wanted to use a particular one, but then I didn't think it fit my theme and colors, because it was leaning more towards blues and, like, darker colors and, like, darker blues anyway and stuff like that. And I wanted to also try to find a wallpaper that which that part should have already been shown by now, but I was trying to find another wallpaper that the wood trim on the bottom of it, because the one that was a Parenthood wallpaper was what I was originally trying to go with, and it had wood trimming on the bottom of it. Then I was trying to find one that had that same wood trimming, but the wallpaper, like the upper part, was just plain paint or whatever, so that you look like, you know, you had tile in the background, and then it seamlessly flowed into, like, the dining room area with the same wood trimming, but that one section was different. Instead of having tile, it was paint or wallpaper, but there was no wall options that the wood on the bottom matched exactly. There was some that was close, but not exactly. And I feel like we need that. I feel like we need some things that when they have, like, tile or something on the upper half with wood or things like that on the bottom half, give some options that are just plain, so that if you want to seamlessly move in from, like, a tiled area into the other area without putting a post or a wall or some way of making it trying to look different. Luckily for me, the window hit right where I needed it to, so, you know, it's not too obvious that you're going from tile to just paint. But it would be nice to have some of those options so that you can do stuff like that, and it would just seamlessly flow from one to the other than the fact that now you're using paint and wallpaper on the one section. But, you know, and also if you just wanted to do a mosaic tile background on your kitchen areas, in certain parts of your kitchen, but not all of the kitchen, that also would help with that. But, you know, one can hope. There may be some CC out there that actually does that, where it's the bottom part of that wall trimming of certain things, but then you have the plain paint or wallpaper on the upper section. But the thing is I don't use CC when I do this stuff, so that wouldn't help me anyway. It would have to be from EA themselves. So yeah, but anyway. Now, one thing I decided early on was that I wanted, like, even all the way back to the outside when I started putting the planters, I was already starting to get to the point where I was like, maybe I'll make whoever lives here, like, one of the people who lives here, be more into gardening and stuff. And then the more and more I got into building and not building, but decorating, the more and more I decided to go with that. So you might notice I do put plants in quite a few places. I do actually try to put plants in almost as many spaces as I possibly could fit them, and there is, like, a little florist station. And I know technically if you were to play this house, you would actually be making the little vases and stuff like that, and you can put them up on display temporarily and things like that. And I have shelves in that little florist station there that you could put those on, but for the sake of the fact that she was going to be touring these, and I didn't really want to put a sim in here just to make those things, and Also, if you do that, sometimes some of them will die on you before you finish making as many as you want, because I tried doing that before and I just went with what I could. But, so I just put, like, different, decorative plants that were already in the build and buy mode up on their shelves, or try to make them look like there's on the shelves, because some of them I shrunk down. And I know I realized one of them was actually floating really bad, and I didn't realize how bad it was floating till I went to go take the screenshots. And I was like, oh well, it's fine. But, so, I did that, and I decided to go very strongly on the whole flower thing. More likely, it would be the mother of the person who was living here, because the child's room that I went with definitely was more of a younger child, and usually they're not much into plants. And I know from personal experience, I grew up in greenhouses, and though I think they're pretty and all, I wanted to help in the greenhouses, just because as a child, you know, you want to almost help and try to make it seem like you're a big kid and that you can do these things. But it wasn't so much I wanted to actually do anything with the plants. I just wanted to carry the stuff around and things like that. I didn't want to actually plant or take care of the plants. Not really the funnest thing in the world. I am now an adult, and I still don't think it's one of the funnest things in the world, but I actually have to do it now, versus little kid me got away with not having to do it, so, sadly. Here in the, right now I'm decorating, or at least I should be decorating, the kitchen, as my voiceover is going over top of it, and, I do have, like, a corner counter, and then, like, well, like, the one that's, like, the inner corner and the one that's the outer corner, and I sort of meshed them over top each other. Part of the reason why I did that is because I did want the interior corner counter to be there, but it has a very odd end on it unless you actually put a, counter on the next side of it. So I thought maybe if I took one of those other, like the end piece or the other corner piece, that maybe I could do something with that and just mesh them together. So that's why they're meshed together. So there's just to try to give it more of, it's functional all the way around and not just plain flat on that one side. And that was the first time that I actually tried doing that, but I just was like, you know what, let's try and see what it looks like. At least for those particular counters, it actually worked pretty well. So I was pretty happy with it, that it worked out. Now, one of the, rooms that I probably worked on the most, well, I know it's the room that I worked on the most, which will be up there very soon. But before I fully mention on that, one of the things that I just remembered, one of the things when I was watching her go through the tours of the building and she head upstairs, I went to go put the little scouting, what is it called? It's where you have the badges and stuff like that, thing. What is it called? I don't remember what it's called. I went to originally put it in the kids' room, and then I realized I never gave the kid a dresser, so then I had to rearrange things for the kids' room, and I took that out and I set it on the edge of the stairs, like I just like literally threw it out in the hallway basically, just until I temporarily decided where I wanted it to. I knew I wanted it either somewhere in the living room, which the living room was already pretty tight, or outside. But then by the time, like, after I moved it in there and I got everything done in the kids' room, to the point I wanted to, after I rearranged everything, I completely forgot about it. So when she was doing the tour, she came up the stairs and there was that little badge thing just glitched in the edge of the stairs. And she was like, I don't think that's supposed to be there. But then she said, I sent her like a message afterwards. I was like, yeah, no, that wasn't supposed to be there. I forgot about that. And then she said something about it gave her ideas. I'm still very interested to see what those ideas are. So, how it gave her ideas. But if I actually moved it down outside for the screenshots, so you won't get to see it in the screenshots, and you'll eventually see me when I'm working on the kids' room and I sort of leave and then I come back to the kids' room to put the dresser in, because I realized I didn't give the child any form of way to store clothes. That I stick it out there and then completely forget about it. So, but if you want to see her reaction, which was pretty funny, and I was like, oh man, I was like, dang it, I knew that I would do something. I knew there was something that I would forget or something that I would do stupid. There it was. But it was pretty funny. You definitely go check her Twitch channel out, though, if you want to go watch that and see everyone else's builds that took part in this challenge and want to see her react to the fact that I messed up and had that thing stuck on the top of the stairs. But, so, yeah. But yeah, I definitely took the longest in the kids' room. Eventually, right now I'm working on, like, the little florist area, and I think I still got the bathrooms to work on. Which, the bathrooms, I did mostly the same theme. It was, like, that brown, like a dark brown for the most part. Because I think something about dark brown when it comes to, like, spas and bathrooms and things like that, I think is a little bit calming and nice. And since I was doing the tans, the creams, and the browns throughout this whole entire house, I decided the bathroom I would go more strongly with some of the darker browns in there. So, oh, and this that I'm working on right now, I decided to do like a little picnic area. Obviously, you wouldn't have a picnic area outside all the time. But I was thinking maybe like, you know, this is a little family that they like to try to spend time outside, and they want to try to do stuff with their child, which me personally, I was sort of going with more of a daughter at the time when building this. Maybe they like to do stuff outside, so I decided to set up a little picnic area. I thought it sort of covered the space that was sort of out there just randomly, and I thought it was sort of cutesy, and she actually really loved that part of it with the picnic table. I mean, not table, but the picnic area. But I just thought that was a little cute idea, and I never do anything like that. I wish you actually couldn't have the function to actually have your Sims do a picnic, because I personally have never really done a full legitimate picnic in real life. I never packed up stuff and went somewhere to spread like a little cloth or whatever on the ground and sat and ate sandwiches and things like that. But I think it's a cute idea, and I think it's really sweet, and you know, maybe eventually sometime in my lifetime I will go on a picnic, maybe. But the closest I've ever been is having a family reunion type thing at a lake where we all brought food to the lake, and it had some picnic vibes, but there was actual picnic tables there. So, I mean, there's picnic tables, but you know, like the sit on the ground type picnic. Haven't done that one, but you know. Anyway, I thought it was cute, and I never really set up a picnic area in any of my builds, and though it wouldn't be like a long-term thing, I thought maybe, you know, just as a temporary, like, this build is sort of maybe captured in a moment of this family's lives. Obviously, a house probably won't look the same every single season in the year, except for, you know, most of my Sims, actually, their houses don't change too much throughout the seasons, but that's because if I did change it every season, every Sims house that I really played at a whole lot, I'd probably go insane. And I probably wouldn't have much time to actually play The Sims. So, yeah, I don't bother changing it too much. I change it enough for, like, some of the holidays, but that's about it. So, yeah, anyway, enough talking about, like, the getting stuck on the picnic. Back to the kids' room that still hasn't shown up, because right now I'm deciding the order of these paintings, because I was very concerned with the order of these paintings and how I thought it looked the best. But yeah, I definitely was the longest in the kids' room. I had a lot of fun with the kids' room. I was imagining it to be a daughter, but I didn't want to go straight for, like, girly pinks and whites and things like that. So there is some pinks, but there's purples and blues, and there's more blues and purples than there are pinks. Even though pink and purple are not too far from each other, because, you know, purple comes from red and blue, and pink comes from red with white in it. So, you know, it's not a far stretch that those colors are close to each other, but, you know, it's different. It's different. Either way, I didn't want to go for the typical princess room, basically, is what I'm saying. So, and I also, like, literally put, like, little toys everywhere and things on the wall, and I just spent a long time in like, the kids' room, and especially since it was small, and me trying to configure things around to try to use the most space, and also, like, I didn't test this after I decorated, like, after I did things, but I wanted to at least make it seem like there was a chance that The Sims could, if you actually downloaded this, which is what I try to do in all of my builds. If you actually downloaded this, I hope that the Sims actually can move around these things. So I try to do that to the best of my ability. Of course, sometimes Sims are a little silly and they can't move around some stuff that seems like obviously you should be able to move around. But using my best judgment, it looks like a kid Sim could get in that room and move around perfectly fine. No promises to that. There may have to be some minor movements. But for the most part, I think it is doable. But yeah, I literally like went crazy in that room. And I decided that the 2 bedrooms, which is what I do a lot of times when it comes to like the majority of houses, I keep them looking overall the same. They have, well, not like from house to house, I'm saying like in the one house, like the rooms overall the same. Like they all have a similar color scheme. They all, like the living room, the kitchen, the bathrooms, they sort of all merge together. You can tell there's a theme in like the whole house. But then when I get to the bedrooms, unless it's like a guest bedroom, but if I know it's a bedroom for what I'm imagining for an actual Sim who's going to be actually using this, who currently, like, constantly is living in that room, I don't stick to the rest of the house theme. Because a bedroom to me is where an individual personality is going to come out the most. Even if you're like the home owner, your personality is going to be shown in your living room and kitchen and stuff like that. But not to a crazy extent, because you're still going to want people to, like, you know, people are going to be going in those rooms the most. They're going to see those the most. People are going to be, like, moving around in those and things like that. Anyway, got a phone call. Sometimes I'm a little too honest maybe in these voiceovers, and I just try to cut it out and say that, you know, I didn't have a phone call, but I don't care. That's why that I stopped. And a lot of times my phone calls make me lose train of thought, so I just gotta sort of start over on my thought. But yeah, like I was saying, you decorate your house the way you want it and the way that it reflects you, but you don't go out absolutely crazy, because this is what your guests are going to be seeing, this is what everyone's going to be dealing with, versus your bedroom. Not many people is going to be seeing your bedroom as much. Plus, if they do see your bedroom, they're probably going to be more understanding that yes, this is your bedroom. This is where you spend most of your time. This is where most of your personal, like, more personal objects tend to stay. You know, this is where you want to be cozy, comfortable, feel, like, fit in, and things like that. Granted, some people have, like, extra rooms, like, if you have, like, a study, or you have, like, a gaming room or something like that, that also shows a lot of expression. But basically, I feel like your bedroom usually is the biggest expression room out of all the houses, like, all the rooms in the house. So those tend to be the ones that I go a little bit more crazier on than any of the others, because of the simple fact that when it comes to bedrooms, I feel like that's where your personality is going to shine the most, especially if you're doing for a kid or a teenager, because obviously they aren't actually decorating the rest of the house. So this is the one room in the house that they get to have a little bit more freedom over decorating and making their own. So I have a lot of fun in trying to decorate the crap out of bedrooms, and this one I probably did more so than any of the other ones, and I really, really liked this bedroom after it was said and done. I was very proud of this bedroom. It had a lot going on, but I was okay with it. I thought it had just the right amount of crazy colors and patterns with toned down, not so patterns, and, you know, I felt like it fit well with a kid. Like, it still looks nice, but at the same time you can tell, like, it's a kid's room. Obviously, at this point, I have not realized I did not put a dresser or anything in that room, so I haven't made the fatal mistake of putting the scout thing out in the stairwell. So, that has not happened yet, but it will soon, because I noticed it as I'm working on the master bedroom, which is where, you know, the parents or parent would be staying at, which I ended up using blue in this room too. I don't know why I decided to go with blue. I guess, you know, maybe the kid just took after, this is where I realized I didn't have a dresser. The kid just took after liking blues after one of the parents, but, so, except for the kid goes a little bit more crazier with the blues than the parents' room, but, you know, But as you can have already seen, I've already at this point made the mistake of putting that badge, scout badge thing, outside on the staircase, and that is where it will stay for the rest of the video because I completely forgot about it. I was partially in a hurry because I thought I was gonna have more time to get to this before, but her birthday was March 6th, and I was still working on it. I was working on this the night of March 5th. So I even sent her a message checking to make sure it was the 6th that it had to be done by and not before. But, you know, I was trying to hurry as fast as I could. And once it got to a certain point, and I kept getting distracted by what was on my TV as well. You can't tell in this video because I've edited those parts out where my mouse is just not moving at all, or what movement is making is just a little bit of twitching because I'm still holding on to the mouse while staring back at my TV. But yeah, so that was probably part of the reason why I forgot the scout thing, was just because I was like, gotta get this done. I gotta make it look good, but I gotta get this done. So, but yeah, this, obviously I have like the little planter thing here because I was trying to get more, acknowledgement that this is like the parent is the one that has likes the plants and things like that. If you're wondering why I have all those units, I've found that some table, like if you do the whole I have to do control 9. I didn't used to have to do it at first. I used to just be able to hit 9, but there's something about my camera controls that if I just hit 9 by itself, my camera just flings off the lot over into like a corner somewhere, and it's really, really weird. So I have to do control 9. I can do 0 without using control, but I sort of do control 0 just as a habit now because I'm having to do control 9. But you know, to raise an object up, I realized some of the surfaces, most of them are at like the same different level. So if you do set something on a particular surface in control 9 or 0, it will match up on almost any surface. If you do it like on a desk, it will match to most of the tables and the end tables and things like that. But there are a few that it won't do that, and if you set it on those and then use the control 9, it will look a little bit differently. So that's why I had all those surfaces. I was trying to find one that was just a little bit different, enough that I can set the object on, and then after that take it off and use control 9 to lift it up to sit on that shelf that had the plants on it, which wasn't necessarily intended to be a shelf to put stuff on. At least I don't think, or it didn't fit the way. But anyway, so that's why I had all those out there. That's a little trick that I have found. I don't know if people do that. I don't know if there's an easier way around it. But I found that if you do find certain surfaces that are a little bit differently height than most of them, it can help you get stuff sitting more flat on other surfaces or things that wasn't necessarily supposed to be a surface. Because sometimes, you know, I set stuff on the edge of bathtubs or on like bed pieces and all that stuff, especially with some of my CC beds and stuff like that. So that's just a little trick that I learned and use. Feel free to use it if you would like. If there's an easier way that you have found to do that, let me know. But otherwise, there you go. I didn't think I was going to be talking through most of this video, but I obviously am going to because it's already almost to the screenshots, and it's almost already over, and the scout badge thing is still on the stairs. Good job, me. But yeah, anyway, I did really, really enjoy doing this. It was a whole lot of fun. I enjoyed watching other people. I wish I could have got to watch it live so I can interact with people as she was doing it. But sadly, my work schedule lined up right when she was doing the live stream. But definitely make sure you go and check out her Twitter and Origin ID and all that, Twitch. It will be down in the description below. She does live stream weekly, unless I think, you know, sometimes stuff happens, but usually she live streams weekly, and she always puts over tweets and stuff when she is doing live streams or when she's planning them and things like that. So definitely follow her on Twitter so that you can keep up with that stuff. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought about this challenge and if you liked how it turned out. Definitely let me know if you ended up trying the challenge yourself, or if you've ever tried challenges like this, how you like doing them. I really had fun with this and I like doing challenges, and I want to try to do more challenges from this in, because it does sort of help you improve in sections, like in parts of things that, like, words, helps you improve in ways that maybe just trying to build on your own wouldn't, because it challenges you and, like, you know, you can't do like your usual and all that stuff. So really did like doing this. I loved the outcome. I had a lot of fun with this. I went little decoration crazy to a certain extent. So, but oh well. I think it turned out well. I hope you liked it. Remember, check that description below for all of her information. My social medias will be down there as well, so if you're not following me on some of the other stuff, you can go check those out below. If you want to join collabs and stuff like that, definitely make sure, you know, follow some of the people I follow on Twitter and things like that. There is a lot of them that do challenges as well. Also, I have my monthly challenges. There's obviously going to be a train right at the end of this. Hello, train. So you can also always join in my monthly challenges. Some of them have limited numbers, and then some of them don't. Like my March one actually has unlimited spots, so anyone could join. But definitely make sure to keep an eye on those. I also try to retweet anytime I see people doing challenges, even if I can't personally be in them because of time and stuff like that. I at least try to retweet it so other people have chance to join those as well. So definitely, you know, keep an eye out on my Twitter if you follow me as well, because I will try to get others out there so that you can join those as well. And again, thank you so much for watching. Check out the description, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!